What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Club 33 podcast for episode 21. We're now legal, fully legal with this episode, JK. Sky is audio only this week again, but fix coming soon from Cousin Dear of Sky, gonna fix that PC, and lovely
boy.
Juice and over here braving the strong storms up there in the Midwest and the Rust Belt. So flood warnings, but he's staying safe. Anyways, how are you guys doing? Episode 21. We're legal. We're legal this week.
Dude, I'm good. I got beer and I got weed because we're 21 now, so it only seemed fitting.
Fully legal.
Fully, yeah. Legal. I can finally purchase these things now that we're on our 21st episode of a podcast. That's how it works legally. So I'm doing well.
This guy definitely stole the show with that response. I'm just gonna say I'm doing well. It's a cold, chilly day up here in the Midwest, and I'm happy to talk some DSA and catch up with you guys for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely the weather's changing. I think everywhere, and even in DSA, the weather is changing with more raid teasing, with the Titans coming into the game, bringing all their different natural disasters, with the tornado one and the lava one that I remember from the film and everything. So we got that little tease in game, and I think it's kind of good they're doing more in-game messaging, because not everyone's on Discord, and the more and more I realize that not everyone's on Discord. It's really like a select few amount of the DSA community that's really on Discord. And even like on Twitter and stuff, like on Facebook as well. Every different site. Like I barely check the Twitter one. I'm not even on the Facebook one, and Instagram is there too, but I don't even check it either. So I think it is important that they do message in game as well, because that's where everyone's going to be. But besides the messaging, more raid teasing. We got, I think, another full confirmation that yes, it is the Zeus raid and it's the Titans and stuff. So I guess in terms of the storyline, if just for a refresher, we're defending Olympus and the Titans are technically attacking. So Juice, will start with you. What do you think about like the storyline of how it's going to work? And I guess what are your thoughts of how it's going to play out as like a storyline for the raid?
I think it's great. Obviously, I think these characters or these phases are going to be much stronger than the Forbidden Depths raid. I mean, when we thought of a potential Little Mermaid raid, all we thought is like basically Ursula, and obviously we got multiple phases of Ursula, but like Flotsam and Jetsam are kind of irrelevant. Maybe Glut, a lot of people didn't even know what the shark's name was. At least I had to refresh myself on that. But this here, if we're getting 4 separate phases on Titan, each Titan being a different phase, could be pretty awesome. Who knows if Zeus joins the party at some point and kind of helps you out during the fight. I'm super stoked for it. And as you were kind of laying it out, Dragon, I was thinking about, I'm like, I feel like if you go back and watch some of our earlier episodes of this podcast, I think we were talking about the theory of having a raid where we fought the Titans and things like that. So I'd be kind of curious to go back and see if we called it and we predicted it right. The only thing is I guess, I don't know. Obviously I'm excited about the raid, but I feel like the Hercules event has passed. It came out earlier this year, and it's passed 2 times, I believe. It's going to be on its 3rd pass. I may be wrong on that, but I guess kind of playing as Herc and seeing Herc in game is kind of become a little old and stale for me a little bit, just because we've seen him so much and he's just become such a staple. So as far as like Zeus and other Hercules characters, it's like, I mean, Zeus will be cool to see in game, but like, I'm not bored of the Hercules characters, but I'm kind of am a little bit. But I don't know. The raid's a new game mode. I'm hoping the mechanics are awesome. Always the theory crafting is cool to see, finding which characters mesh well, what team is going to break the raid and things like that, and seeing which teams post the most damage and stuff like that. It's always cool to kind of keep up with that and just learn the mechanics and stuff like that too. So I'm super excited for it. I think it's a great idea. The Titans are epic, and who knows what they can throw, because the biggest surprise for me for Forbidden Depths raid was definitely phase 4, where the camera is facing the backs of your heroes and you're facing Ursula as a giant sea witch. Like that was so badass. Like that was awesome. I would have never expected something like that. So hopefully they have some cool camera angles, animations, and things like that, and to make this raid pretty awesome.
Totally agree. I'm stoked for it, and yeah, the camera, like I like what you said about the camera angles too, because like they are bringing more. I think with this raid, because we are on, I guess, the defensive, they're probably going to do some different angles that we're used to in fighting. That's just my guess. But Sky, what are you thinking about the new updates?
Yeah, I mean, a new raid's obviously raids some of the coolest content I think games like this can put out because it's truly unique content that we haven't seen. It changes the way you have to play, and it's just all around cool. I do think it's interesting they mentioned about having different or each boss be immune to different things. So they
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that like sleep and charm, maybe it was charm for sure. Sleep would be usable against some titans. So something that's cool to me then is then you can be like, okay, you maybe your club says like, okay, you five work on this team for the first titan, you five on that titan, you five on that titan, you five on that titan. Like if what they're weak to and what they're immune to is different, then you actually are going to see people use different teams instead of just like Forbidden Depths has been, where it's mostly just the same team every phase is the best. So I really like that idea. I really like the idea of, oh, this character, I have to use him against the second Titan because, or whichever, the Wind Titan, whatever. Because like, oh, because he's not immune to charm, and so maybe Jack Sparrow's like insane, or I don't know how it's gonna work. But I really like the idea of each Titan being a completely different battle experience and different tools being necessary for each one. That with being able to choose which order you're in, super, super cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited about the raid. I do think far, far down the line when we are going to see Zeus, he could potentially be a huge problem because he has a leadership, right, to go under. Zeus with Miguel Mythicals could be really toxic depending on what the meta is like when that hits and what Zeus's kit is. So that's something definitely to look out for, I think, long term. But yeah, no, I'm excited for new content. New content's good.
Yeah, and I think the greatest difference between this raid and the Forbidden Depths is the fact that you can go to whichever phase. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which phase. And I think you're really gonna see like characters, like people using specific characters for specific Titans, just like what Sky said. You're gonna see specialists. I think maybe if your roster is oceanic heavy, then you might luck out on one phase. If your roster is more kingdom heavy, you might luck out on a different Titan. And maybe it's not even phases anymore, I guess you could say. It's just we have to take down each one. It doesn't matter when. And I think that's more or less what they were talking about, like in that little memo in game. So I'm really excited about that. And there was one more mechanic that they talked about that I just can't think off the top of my head anymore.
They said insta kill was coming back. I know.
Insta kill is definitely coming back. They said they didn't say it in the actual script in the memo, but they said whether you liked it or not, there are mechanics coming back. And what was the biggest one I've even complained about is the insta kills, because it's definitely the most annoying mechanic with the insta kills. But regardless, even with the insta kills, the top tier players who really know how to use the raid really well, or do the raid really well, they're able to get their 10 million damage and stuff like that. So it's not out of the picture to do it. But I think talking about Zeus and stuff, he is going to be unlocked character. But one character I want to talk about later on, I'm not sure if you have it in the rundown or not, was actually this whole like a Maleficent sweepstakes thing, and when she's coming to the game, Zeus kind of reminding me of that, but we'll talk about that probably towards the end. But just closing us like with this topic, do you guys have any other thoughts or ideas about how this raid is going to be totally different than Forbidden Depths?
I'll add one more thing really quick. I don't know if they're going to do it this time around, but I remember when before Forbidden Depths, they released information about some of the bosses and like their mechanics and things like that before the
Mhm.
raid came out. Because I remember there were players like theory crafting and things like that, and trying
Yeah.
to create teams and things like that. So I don't know if they're going to do that. Hopefully they do that this time around, so we can kind of have a head start of like
Mhm.
which bosses are not immune to certain effects like Sky was talking about and things like that. Because I remember before Forbidden Depths came out, there was no indication that they were like some of these bosses were going to be like immune to like charm or something like that. And I know we mentioned this way early on the podcast, but I remember like the first day the raid came out, like I was watching Thumper, who I don't think plays DSA or maybe streams or plays
Yeah.
DSA anymore, but he created teams just to keep bosses charm locked, like completely stunned and charm locked. And then they hot fixed it or something right when he started playing it or something like that. I can't remember what happened, but obviously there's nothing. It's not gonna be anything like that. I don't think they would do that. But anyways, the possibility of being able to like see what teams you could put together, just seeing what their mechanics are, what their moves are, what their abilities are, what their magic, how much magic costs their abilities are. It's just cool to look at that stuff and kind of like start planning ahead and talking about it. It just creates discussion. It creates fun discussion before the actual release happens.
Yeah, I agree. Because right now we can't theory craft, right? But once we get that little snippet of information, I think we'll be able to theory craft. And Thumper was like definitely like one of the big ones to theory craft when Forbidden Depths came out. And I think he got like you said, like he got like the first maybe go around with it, and then they hot fixed it right away.
Yeah.
The raid, if you guys remember at launch last year, the raid went live, and then like they cut it off real quick and then redid it. So that's what Juice was talking about. But yeah, we're all looking forward to it. This raid I think is definitely going to bring a lot of spice to the game that we definitely need. And another game mode that's coming to DSA that's given us more spice as well is Showdown. So Showdown Season 2 has come around. I know that people are having a lot of fun with the characters, especially with like Lily and Frank and Tiana, and Princess Meta has been climbing from what I've seen recently with everyone getting their Tianas geared up and whatnot. So I'll save my Showdown 2 stuff for a little bit, but we'll start off with Sky this time. How are you enjoying Season 2? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I got all my attempts in the first round. The second round, I just was so busy over that time. I only got a handful in. I just barely got the 450k gold, so I'm doing all right. But I really, really enjoyed this season because they added more playable or more eligible characters. So what this really does is this allows you to get more attempts in, and they didn't increase the milestone requirements. So compared to before, I don't even, because there's 24 characters, and I think there was maybe, do you remember how many there was last round or last season? Maybe 20, maybe less.
I think like maybe
So
18.
Yeah, like 18 or something. So they added like, what is that? Yeah, like 6 playable characters, and they're all more accessible because even the premium ones are only 3 stars required. So it's a lot easier to get to that 450 gold every round. And I think that's something that's really good because I think that 450k gold, if you put the work in for a round of Showdown, you should easily be able to get. So just that, if you have the ability to put a little work in, and you're able to get that 450 gold each round, that's like 2.5 million gold that you got from that milestone alone. It's like a bunch of gold. Yeah, and I think that they did some fun stuff this season. Like in the round with Clock Tower, there's like tons of cleansers, so there's really cool counterplay there. I mean, Frank and Lily and Tiana are all just beyond busted, and it's kind of not fun that they're in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to understand why they are, and that's because people like myself had spent gems to get them to 3 stars because of Showdown alone. So I get why they did it, but it's just a bummer that because it does feel like I think the round would be a lot more fun without those 3 characters in it. But overall, still really enjoying Showdown Season 2.
And I'm gonna piggyback right off Sky. I'm actually enjoying this round a little bit more than the first time because I'm using these characters that aren't maxed out right now. And obviously we had discussions on this podcast before, whether it's like, is it worth whaling for Frank or was it worth whaling for Tian and things like that. And I'd answer the question that I have not. I didn't spend money on the characters. I didn't get them maxed out, but it's cool using these characters in Showdown, theory crafting with them regardless of how busted they seem. I agree with Sky 100%, but it is kind of cool to be on the other end of saying, hey, I don't have these characters on my main roster maxed out, but it's fun being able to use them in this game mode in Showdown, and potential hopes of maybe getting them in the future and using them in the future on my main teams and things like that. But yeah, like I said, I definitely didn't get all my attempts in for sure. Just life being busy and whatnot as well. But I guess that is a positive, being able to use characters that you not necessarily have. But yeah, it's definitely fun. I know we'll probably talk about maybe a brief account updates or things we've been working on as well. But obviously, the Ralph event came back around this past week, and we were all busy working on that. I know I was as well, so that kind of took away from some of my showdown time. But it's the game mode's a positive thing. It's a cool thing about the game. It isn't my favorite part of the game. I'm not as high on it as Sky is, and um, that I'm okay with that. There's other things I'd probably rather do in DSA, but it was enjoyable playing around and messing around with some of those other characters that I'm normally not playing with. Like you start playing with these characters and you look down at their abilities, like what do these abilities do? Like what are these icons? And it's like it's just
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
It's kind of a fun thing. It's like you're not used to playing these characters. You forget what their moves do. You gotta put your thumb and hold it over the icon to see what it does. Like it's stuff like that that kind of makes me smile and kind of makes the game enjoyable, regardless if you're playing like a noob and you're doing the wrong moves and stuff like that as well. So it's fun in its own little way.
Yeah, I mean, and on that, like it just kind of puts into perspective this maybe like the small grouping of characters that we really truly do use versus how many characters there are in DSA. Because I do the same thing during Showdown. I think like probably the first couple rounds when I'm just getting used to the characters and just like, okay, what does this one do again? And then when the rosters kind of flip and then I forget what the moves are again, it makes it entertaining for internally, because I'm relearning some of these rosters like Sully and stuff. You're kind of relearning them and whatnot. But I personally have not touched Showdown Season 2 at all. Just been, PvP isn't my thing. Never was my thing. So I just haven't really got into it. I know I'm missing out on the rewards big time. But I probably will make a push maybe today after the podcast today and get on that.
Well, something nice about Showdown is that like, sure, for the global leaderboard you're behind, but like for each round you've only missed those two. You could get top 5, top 3 first. All
I
three
could
of
come
them,
from behind because I have like 12,000 potions or something. I could easily come from behind.
So you can like each round is its own thing, and I really like that because it makes it so you missed one, but it's okay. You got 3 more, 4 more, whatever.
I think the only change I would make is just keep it open. Like, don't have a regroup phase, because it doesn't really benefit anyone either way. Well, it doesn't really benefit anyone to have like the regroup phases, because if they're going to spend, they're going to spend regardless. So if you took away the regroup phases,
so that's not what the regroup's for. The regroup so you don't play.
Wait, you lagged. Sorry.
Oh, am I working now?
You're working now.
Okay. So the regroup for that, it's for making sure you have someone to play against. It's so they can make everyone on at the same time. That's whether it works or not, or you disagree with it. That's why they do it. You know what I mean?
Okay, I guess I can kind of see that. It's
it needs to be longer. I definitely agree. It needs to be longer, or more days, or something. I think more days is a really good one, actually.
Yeah,
because you can get them all in right away, or you can do them over 3 days.
Because if it was like maybe, because you could break the month into 6 round 24 days, right? No, sorry, 6 rounds, 4 days, which is 24 days, which can fit in a month, right? Because that's basically what these are, right? You know what I'm talking about? Am I doing the math right?
Yeah.
So you can still
Yeah,
have the
you're right.
6
You're right, have that.
rounds, have them 4 days. It's just that there's no, blockage in between there. And if, you happen to do days 1 and 2 and
Oh wait,
usually,
there's 5 rounds though.
oh, there's 5. Well, even better. Then you could
Yeah, that's
easily
even more round.
Yeah, then you can even have more of a breather room. You can add more breather room because if it's 5 rounds, then you do 4 days. You'll have like in a
1 day of downtime in between each one.
2 days because there's roughly like 30 days in a month except
Oh yeah,
February.
if you want to do 30, yeah, that'd be great.
So I think that would work still because at least you have those 2 days, and it's not. I mean, if you happen to fight every day in Showdown, great. But at least like maybe if you focus on 1 day, you'll have like I don't know, 6 days or something. If you start on day 1 to the next one, so I think it plans out.
Because I like really wanted to play on the round I didn't get all my attempts, and I just didn't have the time or forgot. But like there was times where I was like eking out like one game when I had a couple minutes and stuff, because I wanted to play it, but it is tough to get those in sometimes, especially with life. I feel like getting only more and more open.
Yeah, and that I feel that 100% because like I said, I mean it's been pretty busy and stuff, so it's just been so hard to like make the effort, and then like you can't just do one. You got to be like I gotta make the climb, so you got to dedicate, I would say, a solid hour, which for a mobile game I guess nowadays is starting to change. More and more people are playing Future Evolution for like 5 hours, like a full like on
that's me
gaming sesh and whatnot. So it's changing, so I guess it's not that crazy. But
just a segue really quick, in case if you don't believe me, and we're not going to talk about the game because this is a DSA podcast, but there's a game mode in Marvel Future Evolution called the Dark Zone, and you enter this zone, which is a PvP/PvE zone where you can kill other players or you can take down bosses together. So you group up with your clan and you all load into this zone, and you have an hour. There's a timer that starts at the top. It's an hour long, and you have to take down as many or PvE bosses as possible, and then if there's stupid players that get in your way, you can kill them. But yeah, every day at the same time, our clan groups together and we try to take down as many bosses as we can. That's for an hour straight nonstop. Like you can't take a break, you can't put your phone down. Like if you do you'll miss out on kills, which is fine, but like you want as many as possible to get more points, to get more rewards and things like that. So yeah, it's a fun little game mode for sure. But yeah, 1 hour straight. But yeah, you can play that game for a ton of time. It's an RPG, it's MMO. So anyways, sorry.
No worries. No. And also Future Evolution has a pretty good clan of DSA peeps in it, pretty high profile DSA peeps, including Zeus playing it. Am I correct?
Yeah, I'm not I know like Default Dan was getting into it. I know Lauren she was playing with the DSA community scattered throughout that game. So like if you're looking to play with a lot of DSA people, you kind of have to pick and choose what server you play on because there's tons of servers in the game. But
I see.
I'm playing with another Twitch streamer. I'm in his clan, and then a DSA member named Doodle Sport got me into the clan and stuff like that. So anyways,
I love Doodle Sport.
Yeah, so he got me in the clan. We kind of chat on and off. We play the game together and stuff like that. But there's a ton of DSA people that play the game. So anyways,
yeah, with all good things, they slowly have to come to an end, and we've seen that a lot with events in DSA. With Onward, technically not coming to an end, but they go to the side adventure area, and it looks like Stitch is heading over there. And I guess I'll say my couple words for the farewell to Stitch.
Yeah,
it was I
think went out for Stitch.
I liked the whole beach Hawaiian theme they had for that. I hope they don't get rid of it. I hope they add like another game mode where you can use it. But I'm sure obviously we're gonna be seeing it in his side adventure campaign. But once you do the side adventure campaign once, you're never really gonna play it again just to auto it. And that's kind of I guess the point of like the towers, you play it over and over again, and then eventually you're not going to see it. But when Stitch and them came out, very good characters. I mean, they were definitely top tier. Everyone was like, going crazy about them. And now, they're definitely not what they used to be. But that's with every game. Age will catch up, and the new characters and new abilities will surpass the previous ones that were top tier. So it's just, I guess, a circle of life for these for these type of games. And I guess Stitch, it was nice knowing you, but whenever something like this happens, a phoenix will rise, and a new tower will definitely replace him. I'm sure if they want to keep up this pretty smooth rotation of towers, so we might see that new tower. Okay, it makes me thinking: are we gonna get probably the tower then the raid? That's kind of like my guess, like the tower then the raid, or the raid then the tower. And then legendary, because they kind of did that before. But I'm getting ahead. Everyone else needs to do their tribute to Stitch. So Juice, we'll start off with your tribute to Stitch and your thoughts on that Lilo and Stitch team.
Yeah, I mean, the Stitch Tower was so intriguing the first time it came out, just because Bubbles was such an amazing support. He was plugged in so many teams. He was one of the best raid characters and things like that. Bubbles was used significantly, and then Stitch was strictly kind of only a raid character. The thing that I liked most about the Stitch Tower when it first came out was like it really stopped Wales from being able to get him maxed out on the first pass. Like, given that you had a lot of people spending a lot of gems on energy and stuff like that, they didn't have him fully maxed out until a little like after the first couple passes, which was cool. Maybe it was been three passes. I'm not sure on the number. Anyways, so yeah, Stitch was a really cool character. Had a little bit of synergy with Oceanic. He didn't see any play in PvE mostly. Not much tournament stuff aside from maybe like if you're going up against a lot of Big Hero 6 with charges and stuff like that. I remember the Stitch glitch, not the Stitch glitch, but the thing where you could use the basic on Baymax and then Stitch would gain 4 arms like immediately. So his basic was just like a machine gun throughout the whole entire battle, because I was using him at one point. I didn't invest in Stitch till like right towards the end when I had him at like 50 out of 100 for his 7-star, because at the time he was, if not the best raid character, which just stacking defense down and just his basic hit like a truck. He was doing the most damage at the time with his kind of that hybrid team. But yeah, then they nerfed him to hell, and then he never saw a use after that. But the costume was great, the tower was great. Fortunately for me, I didn't get Hercules till the second pass, so I wasn't able to use Herc until I got him for the whole Stitch Tower. So my Stitch Tower kind of took a while because I didn't have Herc for those mythical stuff. But cool character. Sad to see him nerfed and things like that. But just a cool concept where it's like yeah, you can't just spend gems and get this character 7-star right away. You got to wait till the next pass. You got to wait till you get more energy and things like that. So I poured one out for you, Stitch. You'll be my boy. I never got the Hulu costume or the not Hulu costume. What is it? The
Hula.
Hula. Sorry,
Hulu is the streaming
Hulu.
service.
the streaming service. I never got the Hula costume. Yeah, it's funny because we'd always meme about that when I was kind of streaming the game hardcore last year, and like I'd always say like the Hula costume makes Stitch do more damage and stuff like that, and I just never got it. I always said I would, but I never did, and especially after the nerf, there was no reason to get it. So he is a gear tier 8, or did I get him a gear tier 8? I think so.
Probably did.
Yeah, and that level 3 attack gem. So he's been sitting on my roster, not used, collecting dust for quite some time. But Stitch, it's been fun, buddy. I'll have my memories with you in the raid and some kind of random PvP matches when I try to make it work. But goodbye.
The next time you use Stitch is taking that stone off him.
Unfortunately, that might be true.
Yeah, Stitch Tower was like such an exciting point in the game, I thought. I think there was just a lot of excitement in the game at that time. It was crazy. Like, it was right after Big Hero 6 came out. They were so OP, and then Stitch wasn't good for long, but right when Stitch came out, man, was he good, because people only ran Big Hero 6. They ran like some Elsa too. Like there was like the Super Silence team, but like you were like guaranteed at least 3 big hero 6 characters a match in PvP. And he was, oh man, he was so fun. And yeah, like you were saying with the glitch, like where you get full arms, like man, that was like a fun time to play PvP in DSA. Yeah, and like Bubbles is obviously OP. He was like the OG Ursula because they kind of do the same thing, right? And they both like are really bad for Baymax because they can just get rid of that taunt. So it's like they're very similar characters actually, I think. It was just a cool time in DSA, and it was like it is a little weird because I feel like everyone's thought of towers as like the for sure investment you should make because they're always going to come. And now it's not going to come, so it's like, oh shoot, like how good is investing in other towers if they're eventually going to leave too? You know, it kind of changes what my thought process is on towers because we didn't know they continued. So like, yeah, for me, that's like, I was thinking of like, oh yeah, I'll G7 Esmeralda and Quasimodo so I can like climb their tower so I can do less refreshes like every time it comes. And now I'm thinking like maybe that's not even worth it because sure it'll be good for a while, but it's not like a forever thing. I don't know. It's interesting. It makes you have to reconsider some of your farming, I think, with this new information, especially like if someone was going for like, I guess Triton is the next one to go.
Most likely,
it won't be for months, but like eventually Triton's gonna go, and your investment that you've made isn't gonna hold up. In like Ariel, for instance, because I think a lot of people have talked about how good of a farm Ariel is, for instance, because largely because she's a tower character that can help you in so many other requirements. And now it's like, well, she only has a few months left, and then they're gonna get rid of her tower too. So how good is farming Ariel even? It's just interesting. Yeah, I feel like I didn't see this coming, but it does make sense, you know. And it's not like I'm upset about it. It's just like, oh, we need to rethink how we value some of these farms, I think.
Yeah.
And just like the longevity of it too, you
know. I totally agree because, you know, like for us, it doesn't affect us too much because no matter as long as we were in a club and, you know, we were passively at least attempting to do some of the tower, we were going to get Stitch at some point to 7 stars without even trying. And the other characters too, like I think with Rapunzel, I'm only like 40 tokens away from getting her to 7 stars, which is crazy because she's almost been around for a year, but I never, you know, got really high in the tower or anything like that. I think I'm at the bottom of Tower 3, so I never really progressed too high. But Triton Tower, I got pretty high just because the Oceanics, Ursula, Stitch, Bubbles, the other characters I needed, I had them. So it was pretty easy to go up that tower. But it's true. We don't know the future of towers in this game. Could we just go to a 3 tower rotation from here on out and maybe they're done with these type of towers? Because like I guess like from a money standpoint, you know, most people realize, hey, some of these tower characters are okay, some better than others, but I don't need them, you know? So there's no push for anyone to really get them 100%. Granted, with Ascension, you know, you kind of do, you need Esmeralda and Quasi, but you don't necessarily need Frollo, right? For the longest time, you didn't need Triton. And by the time you needed Triton for the raids nowadays, you know, a lot of people already had him at 7 stars because they've been playing so long. So, and same thing with Rapunzel. You didn't really need her until now. Oh, Tiana's here now. Kind of gotta have her. But it's like she's been around for 9 months. Most people have her probably if they've been playing since then. You know, at 6, maybe even 7 stars, if not more. So,
yeah,
I think they did a really poor job with all 4 towers, like having a need to get these characters, right? So
I think Stitch was done well, and I think Triton was done well. I think both of those were done well because Triton was for the raid.
There was a purpose.
He wasn't good in the Yeah, like, and people were like, "Oh, I need him for the raid. I want to do good damage at the raid."
But we found out
And then
other ways
Stitch
around
was
that.
like Big Hero 6 counter. That was like the big thing. Like, oh, you got to counter Big Hero 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rapunzel, like, there was a little bit like, oh, a princess lead. Maybe princesses are good, but probably not. And then they weren't good at that time.
Until like
And
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, until a different character came out. And then Frollo, just no one cared about.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no one was like, oh, I gotta get Frollo. Like, no one was like that. So I think it's a combination of what you say, where people kind of figure it out that they can wait. And
Mhm.
also, they overall, I would say, got progressively worse in how dire it seemed, like you put it, to get the characters. I think they got progressively much, much worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they really, yeah, I could see what you're saying too. And it could be no new tower. It could just be, and towers are going to vanish. And then we don't like them. Like, we wish we went a different route.
Yeah.
Like, we can't know for sure, but that's reasonable to think.
Mm-hmm. And what they could do, you know, if they introduce a new tower with this raid, is maybe this new tower character will be useful with all 4 of the Titans, or maybe just good with like maybe a handful of them, 1 or 2 of them. That's if they were to bring a tower, right? But we don't know. But I guess that's like in closing for this one. Stitch, we love you, buddy. Could be the beginning of an end of an era for towers. But Juicy, did you have anything else to add to this?
I want to say two last things really quick. One is by all means, I'm gonna be 100% honest. When that Stitch tower like pops up on my phone again in my screen, like by now I'm just like, ugh, like God, I mean, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with the event. Like, I'm totally checked out from it. So it's not like I'm like raging because they're getting rid of the event. Like, I don't like it. It's super fast. I mean, I get to level 9 as fast as possible, and then I'm kind of done with the event. Make sure my energy doesn't cap out, type thing, just to get the gammas. That's how I treat the event. So I'm tired of seeing it. So I'm completely fine with it going away.
Same.
The second thing,
I kind of like where your head's at. I really like where your head's at.
Yeah. The second thing I wanted to at least ask is like, what does that mean for newer players, like trying to get Stitch? Like, is he obtainable now or no? I don't. Is he added to a node? I don't know.
He's gonna be, I think, a side adventure campaign. I think.
Oh, okay.
I would guess that.
Yeah.
I think they haven't. They said he's gonna be farmable.
Okay. Yeah.
And I assume that means side adventure. So it'd probably be Bubble and Gantu required at Gear 6. What is it? 7 stars, 6 stars, whatever they're having the requirement. I have no idea. And then then that allows you to farm Stitch, like some of these other characters we've seen, like Manticore. Like, it's gotta be that.
And then and then they'll take Gantu and Bubbles out of Grand Campaign and Elite Battles, put them on the side adventure, and make space for the next tower character, is my guess. If there is one. Yeah.
Or they could just say side adventures are better tower characters.
True. Very true.
They kind of are, though. They're just like an ultra simplified version of towers.
I agree. Like with the side adventures.
Not the legendary ones, the ones that lead to
like Lotso,
like a requirement ones. Yeah, like Lotso, like that doesn't feel that different than a tower.
Yeah, no, it's and at least it's permanent. You do it once and you can auto it.
Yeah. Because I'm with you, Juice. Like, towers suck. I hate doing towers. I'm like, okay, how long can I keep Go-Go and Hero in together to just AoE every round? Okay, this many. Okay, now I have to get rid of one of them. Like,
yeah.
Like, for me, if it was easier, just like audible. Like, if I cleared, stage 1 and stage 2, and I've cleared stage 3, just let me go to the top of stage 3. Just like, if you have VIP, just press auto, you go up tower of endurance. Can't that be part of my VIP as well? Just saying. But yeah, I think we got our grievances and our salute to Stitch and Stitch Tower. You guys have any other words for towers, seasonal tower, rotational tower events?
Yeah, I have a word. I have a genius idea, Glue, for your 6th tower. You need to require all 5 other tower characters,
Oh,
7
shut up,
stars,
shut up, shut up, shut up.
gear 9
Stop.
to
Stop.
beat this tower.
No.
So that so new players can never obtain this character with any level of like being reasonable.
You're literally the devil by doing that.
Blue, you know where to find me.
That's funny.
Speaking of new things, we had a new code usability stuff, or new code mechanic
Feature.
There we go. The welcome, redeem, and test new feed are the 2 codes.
Oh wait, I think I put the wrong. I think it's test news feed.
Test news feed. Okay. No worries.
They're both all in caps.
But yeah, we have like this new code feature, which I guess we could have had a long time ago, but a lot of stuff just went to the mailbox. But I guess this is a way, like, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but it's a new way for, I guess, the community to enter things and get stuff. So
so there's 2 cool things. I think 2 ways we're gonna see this. And one, it's different codes on social media and stuff. So on their Instagram, maybe sometime they'll do an Instagram code. That way people feel like they want to follow the Instagram, or Twitter, or Facebook, right? So they'll do that. And if you're in like a club or something, they'll probably just, whenever anyone finds a code, we'll just put it up there, I assume. Or if not, a different DSA Discord, if you're in DSA Discord. It's like, so I feel like these should spread pretty fast. So it's cool. They're in there. I like it. And then also it allows like Glue to give content creators some type of small like thing.
Yeah, it's good.
And they could limit it to like a couple hundred, you know what I mean? And that will cover everyone. It's like,
yep.
It'll probably make it easier than just doing it through the mailbox, like internally.
Yeah, no, that, because a lot of the mailbox ones that are like from giveaways and stuff, I'm sure those are all manual, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that's probably a bummer.
It's probably like, because I have to like, okay, what's the user, ID and stuff like that. And this way it's probably like, I mean, they still probably do like a little bit of coding, like, okay, this package, we're gonna make it, but just make like 10 automatically generate codes and give it to the content creator, and then guys, I'll DM you the code. Peasy. There you go.
Yeah, so. Well, because the 2 codes they gave out they're pretty solid. They were 2,000 Passover coins each.
I'm hoarding them.
That's nice. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
good codes. Use them. It's like free shit.
Yeah. Juice, any thoughts on the codes?
No, it's just like what Sky said, it's free shit, it's super easy. So like obviously like we're all interconnected with different discords and different streamer discords all relating to DSA. So we're gonna see these codes pop up, we're gonna see these codes shared. And it reminds me of Dead by Daylight. I mean, Dead by Daylight has another system where they release different codes and things like that. We just type in the name and you get free blood points and stuff like that. And it's super, super simple, and it's doesn't take any work. And I don't have to go out and follow these on social media. I don't have to go do any of that. So like as long as I'm just kind of staying within the communications with Discord and other communications, I should be able to get these no problem. So it's simple. It's easy to find it. It's easy to type it in. It's no sweat, no problem. As long the only thing I won't like it if they start releasing codes like AXT9 exclamation point at 4364964D6. Yeah, if they start releasing codes like that, then shame on you. But if they keep it simple like the ones they released so far, that's amazing. So hey, it's free stuff. We like free stuff.
Good job, Glue. We're happy that you care about us. Well, I guess we're going 180 for Glue caring about us with the Miguel leaderboard. Now this character has been
So this one, like, I had a very specific thing, like, I feel like I wanted to say about this.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Sky.
I'm just like, because I don't want it to be like a Debbie Downer. I think it's more like a very interesting thing to this, like, sideways reveal.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a Miguel leaderboard. We just saw Tiana leaderboard. We just saw Miguel in Showdown, Season 1 Global. We saw Tiana in Season 2 Global for the rewards for Showdown. Like, I think we're seeing. I think these premium characters are gonna be they're gonna be like leaderboard bait. They're just like leaderboard characters. So I think that's like a version of premium characters that Glue is like actively making, and I think that's what we were trying to dissect in the past like couple episodes, honestly. But yeah, I think that's what it's gonna do. It's whether it's for showdown, whether it's an energy one, whether it's any type of leaderboard they want to do. I think they're gonna have these handful of premium characters. Right now, there's what, four? That
Yes.
don't yeah. It's what, Lily, Frank, Miguel, and Tiana. I think these are just gonna be your rotating reward bait for a little while. Like that makes a lot of sense for me. I'm not the happiest about it, but it's better than characters being strictly not farmable. So like, even though I overall am unhappy with it, I actually am kind of okay with being able to earn these characters at a very slow rate. But you can earn them, and you can buy packs if you want to. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, it's we analyzed this probably the last 2 or 3 episodes. It was starting with Lily, right? And then Frank, and then Tiana, and again back to Miguel, because Miguel had a interesting release. He was a calendar, and then he's had several iterations where he was slowly released. But I think they found success with Lily, Frank, and Tiana because they're not terrible characters. And the same thing with Miguel. He's only lead for the mythical, so he's kind of somewhat essential for them. For now, I think maybe Zeus will change that. But
or Zeus will make it worse. Either way,
or Zeus will make it worse. Yes. But yeah, it's a way for them to make certain people spend, of course. But at the same time, if it's consistent and it's just kind of rotation like this, well, I'm going to be spending energy anyways, like you said, and I'm going to be climbing the pass holder anyways. So it's not like I'm suffering, right? It'll be an addition to what I'm already doing, and then slowly get them. Slowly get Miguel tokens. I think at this point I'm almost at a 6-star Miguel. I have not bought a single calendar pack or anything like that. It's all just been whatever DSA's thrown at us to get Miguel freely, quote unquote. But it's just, I think, their way of releasing him. So we can't really fight it. And with how these new releases are coming about, we just have to accept it, basically. And pass it over to Juice.
So I feel like I haven't been able to participate in this conversation because I don't know this Miguel character that you're talking about. I do know of a character by the name of what is it, Dragon? Who is it?
Miguel.
Miguel, thank you.
Miguel.
Miguel. I do know Miguel. Okay, the only thing I'm gonna say is like I treat Miguel like Hero. Like Hero was released as a standalone character. Then they introduced him in Heroes campaign and Grand campaign. It's been a while. Why isn't he in any campaigns? Like, come on. Like I still don't understand that. What's up, True? Hey, Janu. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to get people to spend. I guess that's doing a good job because I feel like if they wanted people to spend, they would have got Miguel out definitely during the whole like Hades Pain and Panic meta, which was super difficult for a lot of teams back. I mean, months ago. But obviously, if Zeus does become a thing, like Sky was alluding to earlier, then obviously people are going to still want to get him. So I don't know. It just seems really odd. I just figured he would have been in some type of campaign right now because they're doing constant shifting with putting new characters in campaigns and taking some out and moving them around. So either him being in a side campaign or him being in some type of node, I thought that would have been a thing right now. I'm still shocked that I'm actually saying that right now, but yeah, I just looked at mine's like 61 out of 65, so I'm not even close to the 7-star. That's without me buying any bundles or any gem packs or things like that. So yeah, kind of bizarre, but Go Miguel.
Team Miguel.
I have one more thing to say on it. So like Miguel versus Zerg in like how hard it is to obtain them
Interesting.
up buying packs. Miguel doesn't have a cap the same way Zerg has a cap, because Zerg, you should not 7-star him on average if you got every single token for every single one of his event nodes. You would still not have a 7-star Zerg on average.
True.
Basically for a fact.
Mhm.
So Zerg, like, I don't love Zerg as like a way to release a character either.
Mhm.
But it's not like unheard of what they're doing, because we're talking like, yeah, like I've done literally nothing and I've only gotten free tokens for Miguel, and I have a 6-star, a 5-star, 4-star, whatever it is. Like, that's kind of nuts in a way, because for something you know, like resources into, when you compare it to something as bad as Zerg. And I'm not saying it's good, but I just think it's similarly as bad as other things we've seen.
I can agree with that. I can understand that, because I also bought $30 Zerg packs previously.
I spent way much more on Zerg.
Yeah, right. Like Zerg's hefty to unlock. Like his
Mhm.
packs were so expensive too. Like, it's
They're-
not as bad as like something that was that much of a ripoff. Or like Dash before he was farmable was like so expensive.
And people really wanted to go after that Incredibles event to get Dash.
Yeah.
And I guess if you invested earlier, really early on, okay, it paid off. But now it's kind of like,
But
yeah,
but also it didn't, because he became farmable so quickly.
True.
Overall.
I think he's already been farmable for a year.
Yeah, and I remember everyone was like, "Yeah, I bet Zerg will be next." You remember that? People said that?
A year later.
We're like, "Oh man, Dash farmable, Zerg's next for sure."
And that, I remember that event did not, like the Queen of Heart event was on pause from October till October 2020 till March of 2021. There was literally that's literally like someone's lifespan in this game. They never saw that event.
They didn't even have the opportunity to get Zerg.
Yeah. But then
Poor kids.
Since then it's come around like 2 or 3 times. If I'm correct.
Their events are rotating really quickly right now.
Yeah. I'm liking how they're doing it quicker. I don't mind 7-day events. I really don't.
Yeah, well, they're doing quicker and shorter, and I think that does a good balance of making people happy and not overflowing their resources ecosystem, you know?
Because if everything became a side adventure campaign, people be like pissed off, because like be like, but I want to get my onward gifts for my investment. So they can't I think they cannot get rid of that event 100%. That event's gonna have to be here for a long time. Or might be,
but the good I was gonna say really quick, but the good thing about the events coming around so fast is, like, even for veteran players or people who've been playing since the start, it's like, Frozen's back, or Big Hero 6 is back, whatever. But then you're like, oh, but wait, we have the prestige. We can get some gammas and all these resources. So it's like,
my gammas have never been so healthy.
Yeah, mine are super stacked too.
Yeah, I'm like, I just max all of Rapunzel's abilities because I felt like it recently, and I still have like 300 or something.
I definitely need that, because I leveled up Ralph pretty high of his abilities, and I'm gonna need them for Rapunzel.
I just looked at my gamma count because I haven't looked in a long time. 706, but I haven't upgraded Ralph yet.
I'm at 27.
When I was doing Ralph, I was broke for so long.
Yeah, I'm gonna be spent.
It's well, I guess you guys break the gammas are like non-existent, discussion, because for me that's what it feels like still.
Well, I got first on one of the showdowns too, though, so I got like
okay, that helps
a bunch from that. Yeah,
because like for me, it's like no longer betas, because at least like betas I like easily have at any given moment like over 1,000. It's those gammas. That's the one thing holding me
Well,
back.
Well, that's the right betas. If you run out of betas, you bought a bunch of gammas. So like, because there are more gammas in the ecosystem, but they're also more accessible to buy it. So it's like if you run out of betas, you're just a whale, and that's okay.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, we're gonna get deltas soon, so be
Yeah.
prepared.
Delta's gonna be rough.
Mhm.
I just know it.
But do we have any more thoughts on the way that characters introduced through these leaderboards? Any closing thoughts on this one?
No, I think it's
No, we good.
I think it's fine. It's they're gonna release characters you got that whale tempt, and you have very little option to get them slowly. But at least they're giving us the option to get it slowly. So
true.
it's like a good version of a bad thing.
Yeah, I might totally see that. I guess the last thing we can talk about before maybe a quick account recap is just this like last minute message that Meathead sent today, which has to do with the Community Summoner Showdown for Season 4. So it looks like Default Dan, Crixus, Cozy, Guest, Ludgate, and Danny Mendoza are going to be making the Community Showdown for Season 4. I'm kind of also reading on the side here. I think it's cool that they're taking community input. I like if I ever asked me, I'd be cool like to go in it, I guess, but I also would be a terrible choice because I don't care about PvP enough to like give them, the proper like community like input. I would probably give some pretty bad input probably.
Dude, I would love to do that. Oh my God,
I would love to do it too.
so
Don't get me
much
wrong.
fun.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to do it, but I would definitely give like just terrible feedback, I think.
Oh, dude, I would dissect it so hard, dude. I would have so much fun with that.
So it looks like, what is it?
It's really cool. I'm so happy for the people that got it too. Like they're gonna have a blast with that. Like it's just a cool thing that Glue decided to do.
No, it's
that I will always be jealous for not being picked openly, and that's okay.
we haven't been as active as it used to be, so
yeah, my computer died.
Yeah. Plus, I don't like openly message like I don't think I've ever messaged Meathead, and I'm so
I've never had a
silent on
reason
there.
to.
Well, that too, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to like. I don't feel like messaging every day for like any reason. So, yeah. Juice probably out of the three of us probably had the greatest chance to be on there. Honestly.
Oh, shut up. Look, I'm gonna say this. I was surprised by the news because last year or even at the beginning of this year, even I don't know. We
made a push, didn't we? Something to get their attention.
No,
or something,
I want to say that Glue had their sights set on very specific people in the DSA community, and that was it. Like they didn't play ball with other people. I'm gonna be completely transparent, even if they're watching right now. I reached out to Meathead for certain content and things like that, and he ignored me, and they didn't want anything to do with it. So I was fine with that. So obviously I knew that they only wanted to work with specific people. And then I just kind of, okay, Glue's going to do that. That's their choice. That's their business decision. I'm not going to try to change their decision. I'm going to try to reach out and maybe have them on for a certain stream or a podcast, or maybe do some content with them or whatever. Didn't happen. Whatever. I'm not salty about it anymore, just because it's been so long since I tried pushing that type of stuff. Anyways, I was surprised because it's really cool. Like it's cool they're bringing in people that we know, guest and
Dan.
Ludgate and stuff like that. Some really good people who know a lot about the game and still put a lot of work into the game and still stream DSA kind of like on a full-time basis. So it's good to see them reaching out and bringing in other content creators who put a lot of work in their game and honestly put out free kind of advertising for the game. And they're playing their game. They're spending money on their game as well. So yeah, it's good for them. I have no interest in doing this just because you all know what my feelings about Showdown is, but like Sky would have been a great choice for this just because his mind and his great mind and how he thinks and how he theory crafts and how he plans out Showdown. And he's proven that he's been at the top of the leaderboards with this stuff too. So, it'd be cool to see you on the panel, Sky, for sure. And I can tell by your enthusiasm that you definitely wanted to do it. But yeah, I know all the people that are on kind of that panel that Glue made. I'm not mad because I did not get chosen. This isn't my thing. I don't want to do this. But I'm just saying, back in the day, a lot of us were trying to, get exposed to get Glue involved with our channels, our streams, our content, things like that. It just didn't happen. So, but now it seems like they're maybe expanding their boundaries a little bit. And that's a good thing. So, does it mean I'm going to start streaming DSA nonstop now? No, it's not going to be the case. But it's just good to see because there's people that put a ton of work into the game. I know Dan puts a ton of work. He spends a lot. I mean, I'm assuming he kind of wails on characters and stuff as they come out, similar to some of the other content creators. So he puts a lot of work into his streams and his theory crafting and his tools that he makes and his spending. So it's good to see that kind of pay off where he gets recognized and he can kind of get his own little spotlight in some sense, along with some of the other content creators. So good job, Glue.
Yeah. No, and I really think you hit a good nail where it's like the group is really good because it's really solid. Like, just good group. Like, Default Dan, like there's a lot of good streamers right now, but Default Dan has to be my favorite DSA streamer right now. He just puts out good content and like
good vibes.
I don't know. Yeah, good vibes.
Like very natural.
Very, very intelligent, very willing to hear anyone else's opinion and actually consider it. But then still gets in like some stupid joke sometimes that just makes you chuckle. Like, man, Dan's a great streamer.
I agree with everything there. For sure. Dan's definitely been, I think, around one of the longest too. I think he started probably around when you started Juice. Or around there, I think. I can't remember. But I think Sky would have definitely been the best and most polarizing viewpoint on there. Like everyone would have been on one side and Sky would have been on the other side, like in his own island and like defending, but also being actually probably not even defending, just being on the attack the entire time. Let's be honest.
Dude, I would be on the attack the whole time. Yeah. Man. Oh, it'd be so good. They would be like, here's 1/7 of the character choices. Just have it. Leave us alone.
And actually, speaking about like Sky being the polarized one, I think you had. I still have not watched the Disney fights that you did, but I heard that was whenever you were on, it was like a really good episode. Same thing with Juice too. I heard as well. Whenever both of you guys are on, they've been really good episodes.
I had such a great time on my episode, dude. I'm gonna do another one if I'm off work. And it's gonna be Disney Channel themed, and I'm so in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything at this point that we planned on talking about today.
Quick account update.
Oh yes,
before we get out of here.
Updates. Yes. Juice, why don't you go ahead?
Let's do it. So like I said before, Wreck-It Ralph event came back. I got my Ralph to 7-star. It was not free. Had to put a little bit of quiche into it. Not too much though. Do you know what kind of got me was the gear tier 7 requirements for all the characters. So a lot of the gear I was a little bit short on. Like for my last character, I was a little bit short on some of the heart threads and all that type of crap. But I made a great decision when the event came back around. Like I was short on like King Candy tokens and Shank tokens, and then the pass holder I forgot for the gold, which is only $9.99. You don't need the platinum. I got 20 extra tokens from there. I spent some energy wisely and things like that. So rather than buying just straight out 800 gem bundles or even those packs in the store, I was able to get the pass holder and then spend some gems accordingly. And then also a little thing too is Shank was available in the Summoner Showdown bundle, so you could get 10 of her tokens for 450 gems. So it was a little bit good value there. So I kind of played out my options on the last day. I always wait until the last day on the legendary events to do any type of spending to see where I'm at. But yeah, Ralph is at 7 stars. All the other characters are 7-star gear tier 7, which is cool. The only problem is I have no gold left. So if I want to get Ralph to my highest level, which is like 74 or something, it's going to cost like 4 million gold. Then I have to get them all geared up. I'm still kind of restockpiling on some of my gear again. So Ralph will be usable probably within the next couple weeks or so once I get some gold back and stuff like that. He's just currently he's at 7-star, like level 3 gear tier 1 or 2. So he's not maxed out. But once I get him up, I'll spend my gamuts and stuff like that on as well. So yeah, he's good to go. My next focus after this is I'm not like you guys. My sensational 6 is still not maxed out, so I'm gonna do the final push for those characters. They're almost all, or they're at least all 6-star. I'm gonna be working on the 7-star, and then unless I take a detour for princesses, but I'm not deciding that. I just want to get sensational 6 just to have them on defense and stuff too, which will make things a little bit more convenient. So Ralph is done working on sensational 6, and then eventually princess stuff too. But that's what's going on for me.
Sky?
Yeah, let's see. So I think for the last podcast I hadn't even beat the Toy Story part of Ascension yet, and now I beat all of Ascension.
Oh wow! Oh,
yeah.
Even like
I beat the
very last one.
Yeah, I beat all of it.
Damn.
I really got through stuff pretty quickly, and I was able to like invest the just right amount. Like, and there's a really dumb strategy you can do in the wild section where you just run Spirit Mufasa and Infinity Sided Die, and then you have Kristoff give a crit to Elsa, and then Elsa goes in stasis and then kills the entire enemy team in one attack.
That's cool.
It's really dumb. So you just can kind of cheese every single battle, because all the wild battles also are only the boss ending. So if you can clear one wave, you've cleared the entire thing and you've won. So you just do that every single time, and you can like sometimes you'll get a Rapunzel revive in, but like I got my Rapunzel up and I had my Elsa up, and other than that everyone was gear 6 and I was able to beat them all.
That sounds like such a Sky thing. You found
it was actually
the little cheat.
It actually wasn't me. Timon came up with it like
I should have
forever.
I should have known. I should have known.
Timon's so smart, dude. I love Timon. But yeah, no, I can't take credit. That was his bit, and I blatantly stole it and had so much fun with it.
It worked.
It did. No, I got past some really tough nodes with like Big Hero 6 and the Sensational 6 and the Hercules ones. So, like I probably would have needed to G8 1 or 2 other characters.
So who's next on your list? I'm
going for Jafar.
Ah, okay.
So I've already G7 Jasmine. And then Aladdin is I've already G7 Jasmine and G6 Aladdin and Genie.
Okay.
So I'm already pretty close, honestly. You only need G7.
It's good.
That's kind of the nice thing too, is like, yes, the requirement looks really steep for Jafar, but like, since I feel like a lot of us that played early have things invested in those characters already, it's actually a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah, like for me, I'm kind of on the same boat because I already have Aladdin at gear 7. It's just Genie and Jasmine are gear 6.
Yeah, and that's not that bad. It's like it's still kind of steep, but like it's not that bad.
Yeah, it won't take forever.
It's like a legendary event, you know.
And it's like probably I'll get to it by November, like those guys. Because right now I am working on Rapunzel to gear 8, because she is only needs one more piece for to get to gear 7, and then I don't really level up. I haven't leveled up a kingdom in a while, so
Yeah.
all
Yeah, that's
that
how I was
stuff.
with my
Yeah.
Rapunzel. It was like, well, this was built up since
Mm-hmm.
like Sean Yu.
Yeah, I just haven't had the need or to do it. That was because a lot of the characters bring them to Gear 7, at least for now. Like, at least for now, it's just easy to bring them to Gear 7. That's kind of leave them there. I don't think there's no need to bring any higher than that. But that could change, obviously, the Gear Tier 9. But that's who I'm working on right now is Rapunzel. She's definitely going to be Gear 8 by this weekend. And then after that, got to get what's his name, Flynn Rider to Gear 6. And now that I know your tip, I'm definitely going to use that to my advantage and get through there.
Yeah.
Get through that as fast as I can, because I do have the Gear 8 Elsa. And
yeah, no, and you just put an offense. I put a 5% offense stone on her.
And it just helps a lot. I think.
Yeah, it just enough.
I might even have a level 3 offense stone on her.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have a speed stone on her. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah, well, because you get the automatic crit, and then you get the offense up from Sprint Mufasa, and then you get a million other buffs on her, and like she gets bonus damage per buff on her, so she's getting a ton of bonus damage. And like even if you have characters living still, you can get crit offense up plus infinity die really easily. It's like I 3-starred the Hercules node with a bunch of G6 characters, like,
and that honestly, that one's not the easiest one by far.
It took me the most attempts, but then I just 3-starred it because everything lined up perfectly.
Ironically, the easiest one is Elsa versus Elsa. That's the easiest one, actually. And then I also have, I guess, like farming wise, I'm down to 22 left. Right now, I'm farming Merida, and she's almost done. And then I'm going Korra, Robin Hood, and Shere Khan for October, and Sally if I get to Sally. Because a lot of those guys I just listed off, they're like already, I'd say midway. They're already like 4 stars ish. So then they're kind of like midway, and then they're kind of good. But yeah, that's kind of where my account's at. I'm at 375 summoner score. Last time I checked. I think we've been pretty all close in like the same groupings for sure. Oh, I guess like
I feel like for a long time we've all been so similar.
We've all been pretty close. Like there was one point. No, I was pretty far. Remember, I was pretty far from you guys at one point, and then I caught up, and then I surpassed, and now we're back. I think back all to even.
Then Juice was in full horde for a little while, so I feel like he dipped a little.
Yeah.
And then he spent all his resources, and it was like, and I think he's ahead of us.
I'm at 379 right now.
Oof, whale. Wait, I'm just kidding.
Well,
it was all the Wreck-It Ralph.
No, it's the same. I'm on the same boat because like I was like what, probably I think 362 maybe K, and then Wreck-It Ralph comes around, and then you level up that entire team. You get you spend on it for the stars and whatnot, and next thing you know, you're like 10,000 up, and you're like, but I didn't even really do anything.
Yeah.
No, 7-starring Ralph was so expensive.
At least they gave you 1.5 million gold.
That wasn't, but then you spend it on Ralph.
I know, but I mean, it's at least you got it right, because before they didn't do that, but at least they give you the ability to get into 7 stars. Not level, but it's just 7 stars.
Because I had a 5-star before, right? And I saw that, I was like, oh sweet, I'll be able to spend on all these other things I've been neglecting because I've been working on Wreck-It Ralph. And then I realized that money was going straight to Ralph.
Yes.
Because I needed to 7-star him. And I was like kind of upset, honestly. I was like, I had so many things I've been not spending on for so long because of these stupid Wreck-It Ralph characters.
I mean, they could give you, I think, 1 billion gold, and I probably would still need gold at some point. That's how I feel about it. I kind of wish
Showdown, guys. It's when I shoot up because I get all the gold I'm about to get.
Yeah.
I kind of wish there was like a lifetime tracker of how much gold you spent and stuff. I would appreciate that just to put perspective, honestly.
That would be nuts.
But yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything. Definitely good episode. Do you guys have any closing thoughts? No? We good?
Nobody's gonna like us next week
No one's gonna like us next week? Why is that?
because no one likes you when you're 22.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I see, Sky. Well, hopefully the raid comes, feels like any moment now, but we've been saying that since like
No.
June, so yeah, probably not.
Dude, the raid will
Uh,
come when the raid comes.
Yeah,
It's like, are we there yet? Is the raid here yet?
that's exactly what you feel. Anyways, I'll wrap it up over here. Thanks, guys, for another great episode 21. And we will catch you guys in 2 weeks for episode 22. And that's it from us. See you guys.
Time to take my 21st birthday shot.
Hey.
World Eagle.
Your first shot, dude.